That's something that's mentioned in almost every single ICT strategy, but did you know that most traders are actually trading it completely wrong? In this one video, I'm going to show you exactly how to trade it the right way, the ICT style. So instead of coming on your chart and drawing every single down close candle as an order block or every single up close candle as a bearish order block, we're going to need to look for a few specific things. Step number one, and probably the most important, is to locate a kill zone. ICT stresses the importance of time, and for a specific reason. Time over price always. Now, some of you guys may have seen my previous tweets and Telegram posts speaking about topics covering time. I'm not going to be diving into that right now, but this is exactly what I'm referring to. Time plays a very important role inside of the charts. So let's get into this. What exactly is an order block and how can you actually trade it? An order block is simply the last down close candle before an up move or the last up close candle before a down move. In this example, we're going to be looking at a bullish order block. Now, why exactly does this consist as a valid entry, right? Why is this a valid order block? We'll color this blue and mark it as a bullish order block. Pause the video here, do yourself the favor, and explain to yourself, why do you think this is an order block, but this candle right here is not a valid one, right? Not every order block is valid. Why is this one valid? Why is this one not? Now, I know some of you guys didn't pause the video. That's your problem. I don't really care. If you want to do that, you do that. All right, so this is a valid order block simply because we took out a key low during a kill zone from 7 a.m. up until lunchtime, the New York AM kill zone, okay? We take out a key level and a low, and we completely close above this candle. Not only do we close above this candle, but we also create a fair value gap. So take a look here. We formed this order block with the closure above. So closure above with the 825 candle. Not only did we close above, we also formed a bullish fair value gap right over here. Now, right after that, you would also recognize that we did form a inverse fair value gap as well, right over here, giving you an entry right over here. Besides that, we also have a breaker block. Was the breaker block ever retested and respected? Of course it was. This is giving you a second entry, just like the institutional traders would, right? So right over here, we have the order block, and to the tick, it was respected, pushing prices all the way back up. Now, unfortunately here, you may have not gotten filled. However, this was the breaker. All right, cool. Let's see why exactly that was an order block and what the key level was. So if we zoom out here, on the 1 minute time frame, you can take a look at these lows right over here. And what is that exactly? 1 low, 2 low, 3 low, equal lows. 3 taps onto these lows to the tick, still not broken. We finally tap into those lows, turtle soup, a short-term low right over here, close above that last up close candle, all within the New York kill zone. We finally close above, form that fair value gap, unicorn entry, inverse that fair value gap, giving yet another entry, and then the breaker supplying you a third entry as well. This is a valid order block because of all of those reasons alone. Now, if this level was not here, the order block would not be valid. Why? Well, you have to understand key levels and liquidity play a big role when trying to anticipate the direction of the order block. Sure, you could have executed an order block entry here. You would have taken the loss. Why? Well, you were going against the narrative. We just created equal lows. Equal lows and equal highs. Pay attention, guys, here. Equal lows and equal highs usually get tapped into and then immediately reverse to the other end. That being said, you will always find an order block. Now, will it get tapped into just like this one? Sometimes it will not. So the same thing with an IFEG. You can enter as soon as you get the closure above. The same thing goes for an order block. This 825 candle, sorry about that, would have been your entry. Or you could have waited for that fair value gap tap as well. So where exactly is your stop loss? Let's take this long position here, for example. Entry at the order block, stop loss goes right at the order block low. Very small risk. And that's the power of order blocks, really. You can take a trade and have insanely small risk compared to your reward. So now let's just target the range high there. That gives you a 7.37 R to R trade. And even if you were targeting the first point of liquidity, which would be this high right here, you're getting a 2.33 R trade. That's insanely beautiful. Now, you got this high right here, TP1, TP2, TP3, and final TP if you would like. My ideal scenario, this is extra for you guys watching the video, would be TP at the midpoint of the range, and then final TP at the external point of the range, which would be the high in this case. In a bearish scenario, it would be a low, okay? So that's pretty much the basis and foundation of the order blocks, right? You got to take into consideration time. So we're going to mark all of this down. So confirmations for order blocks, right? Number 1, time. What exactly is time? You're looking for a kill zone, or in my case, we're looking at the 9 a.m. CR model. We're looking for that order block to form in that 9 a.m. Hourly period, or the 10 a.m. for that matter. Number 2, what else are you looking for? Bias and draws on liquidity must be in alignment. You're not going to execute this bullish order block if your bias is bearish for the day. That being said, we took out these equal lows, so the bias and draws on liquidity were clearly higher, leaving all of this internal range liquidity right over here. Let's just do this here. Internal range liquidity, internal range liquidity, internal range liquidity, and external range liquidity. So internal, external. All of this needs to be tapped into. And that's exactly what ends up playing out in this specific example here. And you could go take a look at your charts every single 8 a.m., 9 a.m., even during the middle of the night, 3 a.m., 4 a.m. You'll see this form time and time again. So what's number 3? Also very important is your key level. Now I say this being hesitant because some of you guys are going to look at key levels and think, oh, higher time frame. Your key levels can be equal lows coming from the same exact time frame depending on what you're targeting. For example, remember I showed you could have targeted this internal range high as the endpoint of the trade, your stop loss going here. That would be a 2.3, 2.81, 2.3R trade, whatever it may be. Higher than a 2R is valid. Now, that key level comes from the 1 minute time frame, the same time frame that you're executing on. Why? Well, it's equal lows inside of a key time, matches bias, and matches your draws on liquidity. So that's valid to take. That being said, key levels usually do tend to come from the 1 hour and 4 hour time frames, as well as the dailies and weeklies. You know, you want to be using daily highs and lows, and session highs and lows, and weekly highs and lows as well. Of course, fair value gaps also come in handy, and order blocks from the higher time frames also come in handy as well.
¿Quieres un trabajo gratificante, a distancia y bien pagado? Consíguelo con Triple 10. Un bootcamp de programación online para principiantes.
And finally, step number 4. Probably the easiest one to understand would be the market structure shift. You need that break in market structure or the change in state of delivery to occur before actually entering the trade. So if you have the time set up, if you have your bias and draws on liquidity found, if you have your key level, but you don't have a market structure shift, you're still waiting on the sidelines. What do I mean by that? For example, right here, we take out those we take out those equal lows, we take out a short-term low as well here, and what ends up happening, we close above the order block. That is the change in state of delivery. Not only do we close above that order block, we also create a fair value gap. Now, if that's not enough for you to conclude this is a market structure shift, any change in state of delivery that is occurring while turtle souping a short-term low and the equal lows, while in alignment with bias and draws on liquidity, and all happening at the correct time of day, well then, you also have this IFEG. The IFEG closure above validates everything. That being said, could you have waited for the market structure break here? Sure, you could have. Would you have been entered? No, you would not. So an entry off of this breaker right here, getting tapped into with the 844 candle, was not the most ideal entry. Sure, it worked out, but that wasn't the most ideal entry. Best entries come from the order block, then the fair value gap, and then the inverse fair value gap. Breakers come in third for me. And that is literally it. Some of you guys tend to complicate everything. The reason why most of you fail is because of that. You always complicate everything. There's literally 4 confirmations for order blocks on my chart right now, all of which can be learned in literally a single day. Take your chart, pull it up, and start back testing and looking for those order blocks at the specific times of day that you're actually trading in. Now, if you enjoyed this video, hit that subscribe button and hit the thumbs up as well. It shows me that you guys are actually interested in learning. Stay tuned for future lectures. More are coming out soon. And one last thing for the ones still here, if you want to see me live trade or my 2 other partners live trade in the TSR Premium Discord, hit that link in the description. I am giving you a 7-day free trial. Yes, 7 days for completely free. Here's a tip. Wait for a Sunday. Set up the free trial on the Sunday so you have the complete trading week to watch us trade live. What else do you get? You also get masterclasses, extra lectures. Everything is included. Whatever you would have paid $120 a month for, you get in that 7-day free trial. So if you want to test it out, hit that link in the description, and I'll see you inside.